Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Melanated Beauty. Today's video is going to be me making over my cube storage that you see right here. I have recently been getting into organizing my home, my art supplies, my crafts, just junk that I have collected over the years that have just not found its right proper place. And so I have this storage unit that I've had for a while now, and it needs a makeover. I want to make it something appealing to the eye so I can have it displayed in my home, and it becomes a part of the interior design style, which I will be doing a living room makeover very soon. This is going to be a part of the process, so this may be the first episode of that series. So yeah, let me show you what I'm working with. Purchased this cube storage from Target a couple of years ago, and it's been holding my stuff very well. It's just not really that great looking. And so I'm thinking of adding some doors, and then it's going to be placed on this weird narrow wall that I have that connects to the kitchen in the back. And I'm going to obviously fill in these holes, paint this entire wall a finished clean color again. I'm going to keep it vertically. I've seen a lot of DIYs of this cube storage makeover. People are making it over at a horizontal style, and I have yet to see anyone make it over vertically, which is what I'm doing for this specific wall, to hopefully hide this that connects to my lampshade here. So hopefully everything will fall into place. So I'm headed out to Lowe's now to pick up some supplies. For this piece, I'm going to be using the Zinsser Bin Shellac Primer. It is the best primer to use. And I'm also going to be getting these little door hinges for my cabinet doors I'll be creating, as well as these L brackets that I'll need for the wooden frame, and also just some regular paint supplies, some rollers, drop cloth, and some paint trays. So after taking some measurements, I'm patiently waiting to get some wood cut. I'll leave those measurements down below in the description box. And now I'm back home with my cuts. I did have to make 2 cuts myself at home just because I wanted to make sure I had everything right. So it was very easy. I just used my jigsaw to cut these 4 pieces, which are going to be the middle pieces of wood for my door frames. And I'm just going to use a sanding block to refine those edges and make them nice and smooth. Now I just have to put these pieces together using these L braces, and I'm just using a regular screwdriver and a drill gun to drill these. I would definitely suggest drilling pre-drilled holes so your wood does not split. And here are the door frames prepped and ready to be stained. If I was going to paint these, I would have used a wood filler for these deep cracks, but since I'm keeping them a raw natural wood look, I'm just going to let it be as is. Before I stain these, I'm going to try to prep the wood. I don't have an actual wood conditioner, but I hear that you can use mineral spirits as a wood conditioner, so I'm just applying this first to the frame. And then I go ahead and apply my stain to the wood. This all is actually a process that I do to achieve the perfect whitewash look. I like applying a stain first and then going over top of it with a whitewash. I don't know why, it just seems like it has a better look other than just doing a whitewash on raw wood. So that's what I'm doing, and as you can see here, here's the before and after. And in the midst of doing all this, I ended up spilling the whitewash solution all over my balcony, all over my clothes. It was a big mess, but we got it done. So I headed over to Joann Fabrics while my wood frames were drying to collect some fabric for the inner panels of the wood frame, and I'm going to be using this burlap material in the color Oyster. This is my favorite material to use for all of my projects. I love the color and it looks perfect. So here are the frames, and I'm just going to use a staple gun, some fabric scissors, and I'm going to cut out 2 strips of the material, and being sure to have it folded so it has a double layer, because I do not want a see-through look. I want this to be very opaque and not be able to see the inside, because what's the point of seeing all my junk? Now, to prevent my fabric from fraying on the edges, because burlap loves to fray and pull apart, I'm just folding in the edges and then stapling that so that way it cannot unravel. And of course, for this shot, my gun had just ran out of staples, but you get the gist. And here are the finished door frames. I really love how these turned out. The natural wood with the whitewash and this cream colored burlap is just giving all the natural neutral vibes, and I love it. Now it's time to actually get started on this star of the show, this cube storage. First, I'm going to start by prepping the surface by giving it a good cleaning using this vinegar Windex solution. And I'm also going to be taping off the edges. I feel like it's completely unnecessary to paint all of the inside if I'm just going to be stuffing it with a lot of supplies and it's just going to scrape and, but mostly because I didn't have enough paint. Yeah, so we're only going to be painting here and here and not in there. Sorry, we don't have enough paint for that. And now that I have everything taped off, I am now ready to start priming. I definitely recommend doing this type of project outdoors, but for this video, I was not able to do that. So I just made sure all of my doors and windows were open for proper ventilation. Aww. Once this piece was dry of the primer, I went on and took this sanding block and lightly sanded it down just to get rid of any bumps or lumps to have a smooth surface. And then I wiped it down with a wet paper towel. And for the color, I'll be using Sage Advice by Country Chic Paint. It's a clay-based chalk paint, and I absolutely love this color. It's a very light sage color that looks well in almost any interior design style. To apply my paint, I'm going to be using this ultra smooth roller from Walmart. I love these little rollers. I don't mind using a miniature one because it makes the surface so smooth when I paint. A roller painting furniture is definitely therapeutic to me, so I love doing this part of the project. I went on and applied 2 full coats to the entire piece. Once my piece was completely dry, I went on to my clear top coat, which I'll be using the semi-gloss polyacrylic, which is my favorite top coat to use. I also applied 2 coats of the polyacrylic as well. After everything was dry, I went on and removed the tape. I now have my cabinet positioned upright on the wall that it will be placed at, and I have the door frames just leaning against it so I can pinpoint exactly where I'll be having to pre-drill holes to apply the door hinges. All right, let's see. Now that our furniture doors are a success, it is time to add some furniture legs to give it some height. So I went on and applied these mid-century legs off camera to the piece. They are from Lowe's, and I love the angled look that they give any piece of furniture. And for the finishing touch, I just want to go ahead and add some knobs to the door fronts so I can easily open and close them. These were already in my stash, but I believe they are from Target. The only thing that I'm missing are the cabinet hardware, like the little magnet pieces you install in the inside so they stay shut, but I will add those eventually. Another thing that I had to add was these tiny wood pieces under the legs for the front, just because it was starting to lean forward a little bit, but now that that's there, it's fine. So I went to Dollar Tree before this project and collected a bunch of clear storage containers, so that way I can easily peek and look through, and eventually I will also label them. And this just was so much cheaper and so budget friendly. Definitely check out Dollar Tree's storage and organizer supplies. They have everything you need. You don't need to spend lots of money. I also picked up these command hanging strips, and I'm going to apply them to the back of my cabinet. That way I can also hang my Cricut cutting mats seamlessly in the back where they're not noticeable until you actually open the cabinet. This is definitely a great hack if you don't really want to display your supplies, you just want them kind of like hidden. And I also installed some of them in the cabinet as well, and just to hang up my, scissors and rotary tools. Here is a quick before of this hideous cube storage, and now look at all of the storage space that I have. This helped out such a bunch, and I can easily close it and have it hidden and tucked away. And then the outside just looks so beautiful. It matches my interior design style to the T. I love it so much. The doors and the mint sage green color pairing well with the brass colored hardware. It just looks perfect. Later that night, I went on and added some labels to my containers, and this just completed the overall look, and I'm so happy with it.